have not had a blemish-free victory over Elevate just yet. So maybe that's their goal of the group stages. It's not only just to get to the top seed of their group, but also to have that blemish-free score against Elevate. But only time will tell. We are into the potential match point, like you were saying there, Sir Cloud. So there's a lot to play for here for Blacklist to try and close this out. And there's a lot for Elevate to try and up the ante to get the first win on the board.
Yeah, if you kind of think about it, if you're Genji and you're watching this, it's like, okay, we didn't win against Elevate, but our next opponent is going to be Blacklist International. It is looking pretty scary how Blacklist International is performing. But it's something that we kind of expect from the champion of Philippines here, the way that they've been performing so far and the flexibility that they have, the different kinds of draft that they have shown. And even in this draft as well, because they have the Zhang Fei, so they're going to engage more in fights perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. They could. Well, the one thing we've got to hope is that Chaz actually uses the Unbridled Outburst a lot more formulative than what we saw Everlist did. Yes, towards the end of the game, he was very great with the Unbridled Outburst, but it's going to be matched here with Chaz, which we know he loves to be sticking around in brushes. He likes to gain the intel for his team to be like, hey, guys, you may not want to overextend here, and hey, we may want to take this team fight. So I suppose that's going to be the overall use of the Zhang Fei.
And speaking about the Zhang Fei, on the laning phase, he'll be able to absorb the Flaming Palms easily at the early stage. So a bit of a waste, but you know, you gotta poke somehow. But it's going to be hard to damage the farm laner. In this case, it's going to be Golden Kite. So Golden Kite is having good protection by Zhang Fei.
Yeah, he's just going to be there to body block all those shots, just to be basically his bodyguard for the laning phase for the first 4 minutes. But potential rotation up here into the clash lane. We do have Dragon, Juicy, and Chamiwan all here, looking to try and get that teleport mechanic. Again, this is the good thing about Blacklist, and it's something I'm definitely noticing as an MO. They always love to go for this teleportation mechanic because no matter the hero they get into the clash lane, it means that they're able to teleport easily and frequently to other parts of the map.
They like to be everywhere across the map, right? So that is a very good move by Blacklist. But this round, I would say that they might play a slower game. We might see them reaching peak performance at the middle stage of the game because they need to allow Chami as well as Golden Kai to gain items in order for them to stack up the damage. If not, they can engage, sure, but they can't finish up the fight.
Oh yeah, you want to get Marco Polo to that 200% threshold of the attack speed, right? Just so he's able to proc his passive a lot easier, get that true damage to be activated into those team fights. But right now, it's looking good for Elevate. They're able to keep and maintain the pressure into these lanes, especially in the farm lane, and that's exactly what they want when they got Azar playing Lung.
And Chaz is just going to hold the fort. Look at how he is just playing with the lane, controlling the lane, allowing his teammate Golden Kite to come back to get maximum farm. So that is again one of the sacrifices of a support player that normally people don't see.
I can tell you honestly, if I was in ranked, that would be me. I'd be going, hey, you're not in lane, this is my gold, but hey, we see the Undying Sorrow come through, gets the untargetable. It does mean that the Wind Slash becomes a little bit rendered useless there in the mid lane, but Set Sail does land onto the Hue-1 because it was on cooldown. Oh, first blood for Elevate Hide, but it is going to be answered very quickly over to Juicy on Blacklist. Then it is a bit of a bloodbath in the mid lane. Unbridled Outburst is just tearing away the side of Elevate.
Oh, no, Unbridled Outburst.
Yeah, a little bit of a commitment there for G6. He's able to pick up a kill onto Juicy, pay him back that double kill that he gave to him in game 1.
Oh, man. I do like the rotation by Blacklist to come to at least try to get a few trade-ins, but it didn't really work out for them. Like what we said right early on, Blam, they need to farm to a certain level or to a certain amount of damage level before they're able to engage. At this point, Blacklist International is not the right time yet. And if we were to look at the replay, right, okay, keep an eye off the rotation at the bottom. Sunbeam is making his way as well, so everyone's going towards the mid lane. And by the time they arrive, they're pretty low on either health or pretty low on people. So a bit too late of a rotation. They probably should have just let that one go.
They should have, yeah. They should have just cut their ties pretty early with that one because it's now meant that Elevate's able to claim the Tyrant and also the T1 into the farm lane, so it's already starting to look a little bit like the starting of Game 2, which is definitely going over to the favor of Elevate right now. But Hyde maybe catching his hideout here. It's going to be Dragon claiming the kill up into the Clash lane for Blacklist, and now they just need to make sure they can get that gold difference going on for them, maybe even trade this T1 into the Clash lane. But a little bit of intel there for Chami means to get out of there.
And they're gathering up in the mid. They found their next target. And will they go all in? No, not yet. They realize that, okay, we are still behind Elevate, so we don't want to make those big commitments. They do it on Bright Albus.
Oh, yes, a little bit of a brawl in the mid lane once more. They love meeting here as if it's a nightclub. Mitsura goes down already, so there will be no winter is coming, no change of season going on into this team fight. But the set sail does connect onto Dragon, and that is going to be frightful for the side of Blacklist. But we are seeing some multifaceted goals going on here. We see that the T1 gets taken down into the farm lane as well for Blacklist, so trying to regain some of the gorge, but it is going to be a Jizzix that's leading the cavalry here, being that absolute anchor for the side of Elevate.
Oh, and they still want to go in for the chase. Interesting. But Jizzix disengages. He knows that he cannot continue on because the other players from Blacklist have arrived, but Chami at the top, 1v2, he should be able to sustain himself at the top. I don't see a big CC that can hold him down yet.
Yeah, not just yet, not just yet. I mean, Chami's doing okay on the Charlotte. He's able to pick up a few kills here and there, and he's matching the pace of Hyde right now, even though he doesn't have the means to get about without that teleportation. But looking at the vision score, it's definitely neck and neck with, well, Chaz and Ivalice are definitely staying close in that one, learning a little bit from that 2-game beating. It seems that Ivalice is looking for a lesson learned, but Chaz here may get caught out as well, but they are two tanks fighting each other. I don't think he's going to fall short here, but his teammates went around. The Unbridled Outburst comes through with the damage, but it's not going to be enough health to sustain 3 members Elevate.
Yeah, it was either they forced out the Unbridled Outburst and let him go or just finish up the job, and they chose the later. And now without a big tank, they can engage with the other players.
Yeah, again, once more into the mid lane, we do see the Dream Roll connecting onto 2 on the side of Elevate, but it is Mitsura using the control of the winter is coming, something that was very absent from the last team fight that they had between Elevate and Blacklist, but it's still not going to be enough to gain any more kills for the side of Elevate. Still up 2 kills and about 1k gold.
And Jazz is back. He's making his way, but he needs to stack up the madness before he's able to use his Unbridled Outburst, so that might take some time. And he's doing that right now within his own jungle. At the same time, we can see there's a small skirmish happening at the bottom involving Chami, but at the mid, the tower, Elevate wants it.
Elevate does want it. They do want to try and take that T1 because it is a detrimental objective for either of these teams to lose T1 this early. We're not even at the 10-minute mark, and there's a potential of Blacklist losing their mid. But right now, I think it's going to be a little bit of a divide and conquer for both of these teams. Just go back and reset, trying to get a little bit more presence on the gorge, because right now, Elevate was able to take the T1 down into the farm lane as well. So they're trying to slowly but steadily open up these side lanes.
This fight might be determined by who gets the tower first, but both sides not really interested in the tower just yet. They want to try to get the advantage, and we might see an engagement by Elevate, but they do not have a good position for them to do so. Instead, Blacklist is going to chase them back.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to try and go onto the Azure Golem here of Jizzix. So Jizzix is able to actually pick that up and stop the steal as well, but Juicy looking pretty low. He has to get out of there. Monkey is one of their front lines. He's trying to use all those bubbles to stack up the shield, but it's not going to be enough of the flaming palms coming through, and Mitsura getting a kill onto Chaz. Means that these neutral objectives are well open season for the side of Elevate. Sunbin is definitely making these engages a lot more furious on the side of Elevate.
Yeah, without any of the 2 smites, it's going to be free for Elevate here. And now they have access towards the jungle by taking down the tower. And they can continue to put on pressure because now they have the man advantage. But Juche is back, Chaz will be back up soon, but T2 is down.
I'm having a bit of a flashback here from BTR against Nongshim as they open up that mid lane with Vice Grip. It seems it's going to be hard for Blacklist to come back. Chami a little bit overextended, gets the smackdown laid upon it with the Windrush, but it is also going to be the Flaming Palms connected onto Dragon, making him go bye-bye as they're trying to walk these minions into the high ground turret for Elevate.
They only have the mid lane open for now, but that's going to be good enough. They got the mid lane and they continue to put pressure towards Blacklist. I mean, without all their players, they cannot re-engage. But even if they want to re-engage, they have a gold gap right now, so they can only play the defensive game.
Yeah, I mean, got the mid lane. I think it's a little bit of an understatement there, Claire. They absolutely decimated it. They didn't stop at the T1. They was just like, keep going, just keep moving forward. Let's get the rest of the mid lane and just conquer this whole lane. And it's going to be really hard for Blacklist to actually even venture out into their jungle now without a potential gank from Elevate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the winning condition for Blacklist right now. It's all about farming. They have to catch up on the farm because we don't get to see damage from their damage dealers. Golden Kite, Chami, still not able to deal the amount of damage that they would have wanted. Yes, they can kind of tank with Chaz. It's doing not too bad so far, but if they cannot take out opponents, it doesn't really matter. So they have to find ways to really farm and try to catch back.
Yeah, they're just going to try and pick up their small little victories rather than looking at the grand prize right now. Just try and formulate, put the pieces into the puzzle and make it a pretty picture. But right now, it's looking like Elevate is going to be that toddler that kicks over your puzzle and just destroys the picture that you were trying to make. But we have the minions going into the mid lane and trying to make an advance onto the base. And we have a Blacklist on the back foot trying to defend their high ground turrets.
Yeah, even Chami can't win a 1v1 with Hyde. You can see how comfortable Hyde is at the bottom lane. If Chami chooses to re-engage at the bottom, he's still not going to be able to do much. He might as well be together with his teammates in the potential next fight.
Oh yeah, potential the next fight could be pretty huge here for Elevate, especially those flaming palms literally wiping Chaz down by half health is crazy. They need to stop that Lung popping up anytime soon, but it is Azar on this pick, and oh my gosh, Golden Kite goes down, the sunset set sail does land onto Monkey there, but it is going to be the dream roll that saves him. But for how long, Chami1 does actually form back onto his teammates there, but it is going to be a Jizzix into the back line. The Unbridled Outburst comes through as well as the Infinite Vastness, trying to keep Azar alive, but I feel like this is going to be a cleanup crew for the side of Elevate. They're not going to give Blacklist their clean sweep in this group stage. Taking game 3 is Elevate.
Elevate, ladies and gentlemen, elevating their performance, taking back one game, bringing us to 2-1. Could it be a sign of a comeback again by Elevate? Man, this is going to be big. And plus, now that we're heading on to the next game, more heroes are not able to be used.
Yes, the Banhammer is falling hard, and